Yeah. Oh, I misread it. What's up, guys? Let me throw my headphones in. Good afternoon. All right, testing mic. What's up, Donda? Good to see you.
We can hear you.
I know.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
You were testing, and I was like, well, I don't know why you're testing.
Oh, okay. I was testing the audio of my headphones plugged in, but
okay.
right on. We got 22 Johnsons up in here. Johnsons means people. What up, Enrique? Appreciate the compliment, bro. Cool. Yeah, we can go ahead and get started. Usually kind of expect a little bit more people, but people are sleeping, man. So yeah, thanks for being here. Shout out to you guys. Everyone in here sort of looks familiar. If this is your first time in here, if you could throw one in the chat for me. Just want to see who our new people are. But yeah, as always, we see Sessing's in here. Good to see you, Stevie. Okay, Vicky, Patty, Pansy. I've never seen Pansy in here. Just kidding. She's a normal as well too. But Vicky and Patty, good to see you guys. Thanks for making it. We always appreciate seeing some new people. Usually, we have anywhere from 20 to 50, 60 people in here. So good to have you guys in here. Tuesdays, today's Zoom is just a general Q&A. We're just gonna see if you guys have any questions. You can raise your hand. You can post questions in the chat. We might deep dive into a topic for 20 minutes or so. We also do a Zoom on Fridays that is where we just look at one topic and just delve deep into that. So it might be calling sellers. We might do just live call sellers, go over objections, role play. We do underwriting where we'll just look at a couple of deals and break down the numbers of the deal and figure out, okay, like what is the good structure for this? How can we make a decent cash on cash or all that good stuff? So for Vicky and Patty, how did you guys find us? Was it through just the Elephant Challenge? You guys found that on Facebook and just decided to join a random team?
That's a yes for me.
That's it. Awesome. Well, I think you chose the right team, Vicky.
I think I did.
Nice. Right on. Yeah. So I think most people in here know us, but yeah, we've been pretty consistent. The Elephant Challenge has been going on for a year, maybe. I don't know, 8 months, 6 months. I lost track of time, but we've been pretty consistent. We've been running 1 to 2 Zooms a week since the challenge started. Over a year. Wow, I did not know that. So yeah, I constantly have people in the Zooms. We have some people that have been with us for a long time. I don't know when, but I've seen Sessing in here for a long time. So she's always in here. Same thing. Pansley's been here in a while. I don't know where she went. Miss Donda. Oh, there she is. Donda's been with us for a while as well too. So yeah, just good to have you guys. So we'll get started. If any of you guys have questions, feel free to raise your hand, post it in the chat. We mostly specialize in creative financing. So if you guys have any subject to seller finance, anything like that, we can definitely get into. Right on. Thanks, Donda. Also, Rebecca, I've been seeing her in a few of our Zooms. She sent us a couple of leads out there making calls, trying to find deals. Joel says title companies. What do you mean by that, Joel? You're asking about how to use title companies? Yeah, maybe you could specify on that. Using title companies and getting referrals from their deals so we can bring repeat business. Yeah, I don't know if we've ever really had or tried to get leads or business from title companies, but they are a great resource to generate leads if you want to go that route. Title companies have access, usually more up-to-date access on probate and foreclosure leads. So we've says, like for deals that fail traditionally, we can come creatively, or attorneys like probates. Yeah. We have some pretty good relationships with title companies in Florida, Colorado, obviously, and a few other states as well too. Some that, have asked us, how can we continue to do more business in the future? And, we don't really know the answer to that. So maybe that's something that, we can explore together and figure out how that works. I do know outside of, like foreclosures and probates, those are kind of the most obvious ways to do it. But I like your idea of like, hey, have you guys had any transactions that have failed in the traditional sense? Maybe we can help revive those leads. But they also have, client confidentiality. They can't provide stuff like that, is my guess. They necessarily can't like share client information. So if you said, like, who are your serious buyers, who's buying, a couple deals a month, I don't think they can disclose that, so but I would say definitely foreclosures and probate are the obvious ones that stand out to me. So unless you have a really good relationship with an escrow officer and she can give you the inside scoop, but I'm not too sure. Nice. We got some more people showing up. What's up, all you latecomers? You guys are in trouble. Just kidding. Patty says, I'm new and still need to pick my markets. I went to census.com and trying to find out I'm so bad at reading, trying to find out where to find the population in the United States. Great question, Patty. One website I really like to use is, if I don't even remember it, I actually like to hunt for my areas by county. So this is a great website, demographics.com. It'll at least tell you how many people live in these counties. So demographics.com, you just type in the state, and it will show you. So we market in a good 20-25 states, because we're really targeting in almost every major county in the country, depending on some factors. We don't really hunt in New York, New Jersey, Maine, Rhode Island, Washington, Oregon. I'm looking at a map right now. Montana, not really, but maybe we could look in Billings. North and South Dakota, not really. Nebraska, no one lives in Nebraska. Wyoming, no one lives in Wyoming. If you guys live in those states, I'm just kidding. But if you don't, I'm not. But yeah, demographics.com. So I would say probably the number one state to own real estate is probably Florida. No state income tax, and they have favorable property taxes. Texas, no state income tax, but their property taxes are insane. Florida, by far, great landlord laws. They're definitely favorable towards landlords. You have areas like Miami where the average home is 600,000, 700,000, 800,000, and then you have other areas where the average home price is 200,000. So your insurance might be high. That's maybe the only downside of Florida, is your insurance is going to be high. Yep. But yeah, I mean, I personally love North and South Carolina, beautiful states, friendly towards landlords, not high on taxes. Insurance can be high if you live on the coast. Affordable is one big part. Arizona is good too. Obviously, we mostly just hunt in Maricopa County, so the Phoenix area. Probably a little bit inflated though right now, to be honest. Phoenix is probably a little bit inflated, but that's why we do creative finance. Oklahoma can be good too. There's parts of Oklahoma that are super affordable and some that are inflated. So yeah, like Tulsa might be a little bit overinflated. But same thing, friendly, red states, it's just friendly towards landlords despite everything else. Carolinas are really good. Colorado, Springs and Pueblo, pretty good. The rest of our state is way too inflated. So yeah, I'd say, I wouldn't spend too much time picking a market. Illinois is great, very affordable. It really just depends on what you're looking for. We're buying and keeping deals in all over several different states, but we're wholesaling in 20-25 states, like I said. Pansy, it's not affordable. Some parts of Illinois can definitely be affordable. In Indiana, you can find some sketchy parts, but some nice affordable parts as well. High demand, local and affordable. Yeah, I would say that. We have a deal in Cleveland, Ohio. We're going to keep. It's a Section 8 deal. It's a subject to crazy cash flow. We're actually going to be looking into, I think, Section 8 a little bit more as well too, just because the cash flow is great. But yeah, hopefully that helps. I forget who asked. Patty. Yeah, Patty. I would say don't spend too much time. Don't think about it too much. Your own market wherever you live is probably also a good idea, just because you live there, right? So but try to learn your markets, but don't spend too much time overanalyzing. I would say try to jump in, make some calls, and then go from there to figure it out.
Yeah. The problem I have is I'm in California, so they've passed a lot of laws that are not landlord friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And it even gets worse as you get into the local area. So for example, in San Diego, you have to pay, my husband showed it to me, I forgot, there's a certain amount of money that you have to pay each person that's living in the home, regardless of age, if it's a no fault eviction.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm teasing now that, hey, if you want to become a landlord, if you want to become an owner of a property, you got to become a tenant first.
Yep. They're proposing the same laws here in Colorado as well, where you'd have to pay someone just to evict them, which is ridiculous. So I think for you'd have to kind of figure out what your goals are. Do you want to wholesale? Do you want to just keep? Do you want to be like a lender? Do you want to fix and flip? So figuring out that first will help you pick your market. Do you know what your goal is in that aspect?
Yeah, I have two. One of them I want to be a gator lender. So I'm transferring all my 403B stuff and my DBS and getting that set up to do self-directed stuff. And then what I do here in California is going to be long-term buy and hold. So I think those two.
Okay, sure. So I'll go into the lending stuff in a second too. But buy and hold, everybody, I think, me too. Like I have the vision where I just want to have a portfolio of properties. Ideally, have a property manager that takes care of everything, and then I can just collect some cash flow and retire. Spend a few hours a week working on my business, and that's about it. Cash flow is super hard to come by right now. Like the cost to own a home versus to rent. Whoa, I don't know what that is, Angie. Angie's drawing on my screen. Let me turn this off, actually. But yeah, the cost to own a home versus to rent doesn't make sense, So you really have to find those markets where the cost to rent outweighs the cost to own a home. So that's why I think affordable markets is the best place to look. So where the average home price is $250,000, around that range, that's where your market needs to be. if you want to be a buy and hold rent landlord. So that's why we're really considering, like Ohio, Indiana, Oklahoma for Section 8, because it's guaranteed, right? Or it's at least backed, it's government funded. So that's great. But you can buy a $100,000, $80,000, $200,000 home and still get $1,000 to $2,000 a month in rent. Versus in California and Colorado, my home is worth maybe $600,000, and I could maybe, if I'm lucky, rent it for $3,000. It just doesn't make sense, Like I could buy a triplex in Florida for $600,000 and maybe make $4,500. So finding out the affordable markets where the cost, that might be a Google search too. Actually, let's do that together. Like, what markets is it better to own than rent? Because it's definitely shifted in the past couple of years. What real estate market is it better to own? Look at this. There are only 4 major US metro areas where it's cheaper to buy a home than rent. That's crazy. I didn't think it would be that low. So Detroit, Philly, Cleveland, ding, 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 and Houston. I wouldn't even think that was on the list. So you got to see, right? It's very hard. That's why, again, subject to and seller finance and creative finance is so amazing, because if you try to do it the traditional way, it's not going to work. So the idea is to I think, target these affordable markets, and we need to find these sellers that have low interest loans with low equity that we can take over their loan subject to. So hopefully that helps. Like, that kind of puts you in the right direction as to kind of what markets to look for. If you don't want to wholesale, we love wholesaling. I love wholesaling. So that's why I'm looking at every major market, because I know there's people buying in every major market. But if you just want to buy and hold, affordable markets is the way to go. Alabama, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Texas, parts of these states. There's parts where they're too expensive. So, and red states, not Colorado, not California, Washington, Oregon, New York, none of those states. So hopefully that helps. Florida's great. What up, Maj? Good to see you, bro. I do love to shred and golf. Yep. If any of you guys are in Colorado and like to golf, hit me and Joey up. We'd love to get 18 in. Oh, and then the lending, Patty. I want to talk to you about the lending. So this is for everyone. I'm gonna kind of do what Pace does, and I'm gonna talk to you, but like try to teach through you as well too. I think everybody saw Pace's videos and wanted to be a Gator lender, myself included. I had a self-directed 401k and a Roth IRA. I had a couple $1,000, and he was like, you can lend earnest money to wholesalers and get paid back when they get their assignment fee. And I was like, it's like printing money, right? Why isn't everybody doing this? But you really have to, I would say there's a lot of steps ahead of time before you go to Gator lending. And I don't know, I haven't watched Pace's Gator methods in a while, and he's probably touched on this since, but you have to be almost an expert in underwriting before you be a lender. Because if you don't know how to underwrite and make sure a deal is a good deal, you're just putting your money on black, hoping it's a good deal, right? Like I did that. I lost $1,000. I could have lost more. I probably should have, but I got lucky and got my money back. I lost $1,000 lending to a wholesaler in Indiana. Didn't know anything about the market. He locked up an on-market property for cash, maybe $10,000 under what it was listed for. And he was like, hey, I have an inspection period. Lend me my earnest money, $1,000. And if I get my assignment fee, I'll pay you $2,000. And if I don't, you get your money back. And I said, sweet, sounds good to me. Didn't read the contract. didn't do my due diligence. Of course, he locked it up too high. There was no way he was going to find a buyer. And then also didn't read the contract that my earnest money went hard immediately. So since then, I don't know if I've lent money. I've only lent money on deals that we bought or like wholesaled ourselves. So you have to be an expert in underwriting. Maybe not an expert. You really have to understand how to identify what a good deal looks like to know if you're going to make your money back or not. So that's all I'd say and preface with the Gator method is you kind of really have to understand real estate from a buyer and seller perspective and an investor perspective more than anything before you start lending. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the contracts that go with it because I want to make sure that I get my money back. So I don't know if there's any kind of cross collateralization that happens where they have to put up something that's worth maybe 2 or 3 times more than what you're giving. So
absolutely,
you have something to so you have something to fall back on. Right.
That's huge. Yeah. So that's another part too, is like you want a really good transaction coordinator that can make sure your paperwork is done correctly, but also filed correctly and you're cross collateralized, like you said. So there's a lot to lending. A lot of my guess is that a lot of Gator lenders, people who are new to the Gator method, have lost some money because they just jumped into it thinking it was all sweet, but you really have to do your due diligence and your homework. So I would say until you're absolutely confident in your underwriting skills and you have some transaction coordinator connections, or you really understand the paperwork yourself, I would not lend money until those things happen.
Dylan, one quick question. When do you get the chance to read that contract to make sure you are in a good position?
So
do you read the contract once it's signed and you get it back from your who provides the contract? We
right.
do,
so
or
if you wanted to like borrow funds from me for Gator lending, yeah. It depends. Let's say for earnest money, right? Like you wanted to wholesale a deal and you needed $1,000 for earnest money. I would want to see that purchase and sale agreement you have between the seller. And then if you have an assignment where you already have a buyer lined up, I'd want to see that. And to be honest, I'd want to talk to all those parties. Probably not your seller. I don't need to talk to your seller, but I'd want to talk to your buyer and vet them, see like, where are you getting your money? What's your exit strategy? How many deals have you done? All that good stuff. So yeah, like that's the other thing too, is like, you don't want to just lend money to someone, even if they have a good deal. You want to make sure their paperwork's right. They know how to vet a buyer. And that's the other part of it is like, if you have someone that is experienced with wholesaling, they're locking up good deals, they have a pool of good buyers. It's like, what are the odds that person needs to borrow earnest money in the first place, right? Like they probably have $1,000 they can scrape together. So the majority of people you're loaning earnest money to are going to be brand new people that don't have $1,000 or $2,500 to their name. So they're not going to be very experienced anyways. They're probably not locking good deals up. Okay. So be very hesitant who you lend money to is all I would say. Because I've lost money, so I just don't want to see other people do it. There's ways to do it though.
Can we get the assignment contract from you or what? Or
yeah.
Or does it depend upon what state you're looking at the property and therefore you have to get a state contract?
No, let me see if I bet if you guys are a part of the creative finance pace group, go to this. Let's see. So yeah, I think the assignment contract we have is shareable. I could probably post it in the Herd of Profits Facebook group too. But this Facebook group is a huge resource for a lot of people too. If you guys don't have like a document you need, come over here to more and then files. Like there's going to be so many. Look at this: seller finance LOI, fillable, like co-wholesaling agreement, appraisal sheet, right? Like investment opportunities. There's probably underwriting calculators right here, title company directories. So this group is so valuable. Sub-2 deal analyzer. So let's see if we can just search for assignment. Nothing. Wow. That's surprising.
Wow.
Actually. Oh, like that's the first thing that pops up. I wonder, okay, maybe it's just looking at all my deals. That's weird. Yeah, I'm guessing I'm just gonna get a lot of these sub deal available for assignment. But yeah, we have assignment contracts. I think we can share them. I don't think that's a part of our NDA. So I'll post that to, pretty simple. It's just like a cash one. We use that for the creative and the cash. So
Hey, Dylan,
yeah.
we can only give out, I think, the wholesale contract. That's it.
Okay, not even the like assignment contract? Because I don't know where I got that assignment contract either. I don't know if I got it from Sub2 or just found it by myself.
Wait,
I'll
so
let you
what
figure that
contract
out, Rach.
I was on, yeah, let me find out. What contract do we need? What are we asking? I was on
It's
the
just
phone.
an
Assignment
assignment.
The assignment contract?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I have to
I have an
call.
assignment contract if somebody needs one.
Yeah, I think it's pretty standard. I don't think there's
I feel
anything
like
we gotta.
we can. Maj, do you know?
There's one in the resources channel in the Elephant Challenge circle page.
Oh, then we can then. If it's
No,
on the
I think-
elephant challenge.
I think we could share as long as whoever's outside of Sub2 is JVing with a Sub2 student in the deal.
Okay, that's what I wasn't sure on.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the info.
Yep. Thanks, Essing. Oh, okay. So yeah, if it's on Circle, you can find it there as well. I'll let Rachel. Yep, Dylan's got it. Dylan's got you. He just posted in the chat, Sessing.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yep. Right on. All right, let's see. Anybody? Someone's getting called Patty. Someone's calling you. No worries. Does anyone have any more questions? Anybody working on anything right now? I think I saw a question that I missed.
Always working.
What's that, Stevie?
Always working.
Always working. I love it. Oh, yeah. Joel asked, on the subject of PML, what are the ways we need to vet them? Someone asked, yeah, like, okay, Dylan asked, what's a good way to find PMLs to work with? So I guess I'll touch into that too. That's always the good question, is like, where do you find these wealthy people that are just willing to give you their money, right? Like, everybody says they're everywhere, which they are, but how do you one, find them, and then two, get them to trust you enough to where they're willing to lend you money, right? So there's a couple of ways to do it. The first way would be to find a great deal, right? If you find an amazing deal, you hear this a lot, like you find a great deal, buyers will come, people with money will come to lend it to you, right? So that's the first step, and it's not always that easy, but if you find a great deal and you post like, hey, I'm looking for a PML or an equity partner, here's the deal, here's the numbers, done all my homework, right? So that's one way. Another way, the way we've sourced our private money lending relationships is just experience and getting out there in front of people. So, you know, we've posted a lot of deals on Sub2 for assignment. We're JVing on a deal with Pace. We've kept quite a few wraps and rentals. So just experience in general gives lenders a lot of confidence that, okay, these people are actively doing this. They know what they're doing. I trust them to, you know, make good decisions with my money. And then I would say probably like maybe one of the best ways is like social media. I'm terrible at social media. I have such anxiety about posting on Instagram, and I just don't like to do it. So I'm not good at it. But if I guarantee if I posted like every deal we wholesaled, you know, like if I posted clips from these Zooms on my Instagram, I would probably have a lot more people DMing me like, hey man, I got 30 grand or 100 grand. Do you know what I could do with this? Right. So that's another way, is being active on social media. And then Joel says, on the subject of PMLs, what are ways we need to vet them, questions to ask them, qualifications, building relationships with them, key points needed for private equity, what are ways to build credibility with them on long-term relationships. So obviously make sure you're vetting any person that wants to send you money, especially if you found them off of like Facebook. I know for a fact there's tons of people that have been scammed in the creative Facebook group, from hard money lenders, private money lenders. So I'm not too sure what the best way to vet them is. Obviously, try to have a real conversation with them. If they have an accent, it doesn't mean everything, but if they have an accent, that might be just a little bit of a red flag, right? If they're asking you for social security numbers, birthdays, anything like that, if they're asking you to send them money, probably not a solid lender, right? So yeah, I'm not too sure. I would say, but yeah, be cautious, because there are lenders that somehow scam money out of people. I don't know how they do it, but definitely be cautious. Pansy, you have a question?
I do, but I don't know if you would want to do it, or if this is
do. Let's do
the
it.
right Zoom. So I
Okay.
have a house that I did call about, and I did speak to the owner, and I did get numbers together of like ARV and repair costs and all that. The problem I'm having is it doesn't look like the numbers would work even as a full-term rental. At least not at the prices this guy thinks that his house is worth. So if I bought it and he wants like, I think 140, he might even ask 160. But it's a small house. And it's an investor who's never seen the place either. So I just didn't know if you would want to help me out with looking at it a little better.
Yeah, like underwriting it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a good amount of the underwriting, but like I said, I'm looking at it from the perspective that, say it gets fixed up and, you know, if I think he would possibly do owner financing if I don't think he understands it, honestly.
Okay.
Because he has no mortgage.
Right. So it'd be seller finance.
So yeah, that would be like, because otherwise he's gonna want like the 140 or possibly 160 for cash.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't see the numbers working after fixing it up, because it needs at the least amount 20,000 of work.
Okay.
And that's like,
Do you want to share it in front of everybody else?
I don't care.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to type it in the chat,
Yeah.
or you could just send it to me directly, whichever one? Yeah, I'll take a look at it, Pansy. Let me just answer these next couple of questions and we'll
Yeah,
go back to
sure.
it. Okay. What up, Enrique?
Yeah, what's going on, brother? How you
What's
feeling?
up, bro? Good, man.
Good, man. It's good to talk to you. Been a minute. Yeah, my question, I kind of answered it while I was thinking, but essentially it was if you were to do a kind of like a hybrid offer where it's like half seller finance, half cash up front. Let's say you default on some payments, hypothetically, not that that's gonna happen, but if that were to happen, would they be able to take the entire property back, or would it be like that portion that portion, that remaining portion that was not cash? Let's say it was 50-50 or 50%, or would they just take the whole asset back?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you guys agree upon. But in that scenario, that would just be that wouldn't be a hybrid. That would just be seller finance, and you just gave them a 50% down payment. And the way I think about it is like whether you give him a 5% or a 50% down payment, either way, if you default, yeah, he gets the entire asset back. You could structure it to where, you know, he only gets half or the portion of whatever he still owed back, but I don't know how that would work. That would be pretty unique, and I don't know if it would even work anyways. So yeah, you'd probably be at risk to lose the entire asset.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. And then your contracts that are for seller financing, do you give yourself like a period where you know, an extra month or so to come up with payments, or is it right away if you were to miss 1 month?
We try to always negotiate as long as possible. Like 90 days is pretty long for like seller finance. You know, like if you were financing someone and they didn't pay you back for 3 months, you'd definitely be a little concerned. Yeah. But you know, we always shoot for 90, and then we'll settle on 60 or we'll settle on 30. But we make sure we're protected when we set up a servicing company, that we're preloading the account with a couple of months of payments anyways. So if everything's a little tight, we still have money in that account for reserves anyways. So always try to give yourself the long, or don't even mention. A lot of sub-2 students are good at or always just try to shoot for, you know, not even ever mentioning a deed in lieu of foreclosure or a default period, right? Like if a seller never asks, right, why would you divulge that? Which I think I hear a lot of people say that, right? Like on 90% of my deals, I don't have deed in lieus, but how do you not get the objection? Well, what happens if you miss a payment, right? That's like the first objection you're going to get. So I don't know how they're getting around that. And it's actually kind of like the biggest selling point, the biggest benefit for a seller is that, hey, if I default, it's the best case scenario because you keep my down payment and you get the house back, you know? Yeah. So I don't know how they get around that, but yeah, always shoot for 90 days at least, I would say. And if you have to settle for 60 or 30, but I would never go below 30.
Okay, cool. What's a interest rate that you try to shoot for, like not to go above when you're doing seller financing?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. It really depends on the cost of the home. But I would say 5%, like a general 5%, because you can still wrap something at 6.5%, 7% if you needed to, but it really depends on what's your exit strategy, what the cost of the home is, all that good stuff.
Cool. That's what I was thinking. My last question was, when they want to see your credit report and all that, do you share that, or what's the workaround for that?
Never. Credibility. I would say that's the reason why we're in this, is so that I don't have to show anyone my credit score, my tax records, my job history. Is like, it's going to be, I have never, not never, but I haven't had someone ask me or anything like that to check credit, because I come across on the phone very credible. Like, Maj says they're on drugs. But yeah, like, you know, just sounding like you know what you're doing, right? Like this is our business. I'm in real estate full time. I'm buying 3 to 6 homes a month. You really need to check my credit. I think Pace bought his $3 million home just because of how good he sounds on the phone. And probably the guy Googled him too, you know, but yeah, I don't think he ever checked Pace's credit, right?
Is there anything that you show to show that credibility besides the phone? You know how Pace has, you know, websites, and he has a lot of content that you can see.
Right. We have a good credibility letter that we update every month or so, every 2 months, with just new deals that are closed. We'll put the addresses, HUDs, our settlement statements, with usually a referral to that agent or to that seller or to the title company that helped us close it. I'm like, there's my credit check. Go and call the agent or the seller that we closed on our last deal and see how they felt about it. You know?
I like that. Thank you.
Yep. Right on. Good questions, Enrique. Let's see. All right, I'm not gonna mess this up. Is it I'm gonna mess it up. Is it Glaber?
It's a Glauber.
Glauber. That was what I was gonna say at first, but I was like, I don't think it's Glauber. But
No,
what's up,
no,
man?
no. It's all right. I'm used to,
Yeah, I'm sure.
I usually like let people call me G, which is easier.
G, I like that. I like actually. I call a lot of people by their first initials because I'm bad at names, so it's a lot easier for me to remember, anyways, too. So
Mhm.
I like that.
Yes. Yeah. So first of all, I appreciate the opportunity to join the group. I recently joined, so I got familiar with that thanks to a former coworker who was one of Faye's mentee on the sub two, I believe. So the question that I have is, I currently have my own home is rented to a group home business, and I know, if I find a deal to use like the creative financing, I was wondering, what do I need to what paperwork or documents do I need to bring to private money lenders? I already have the contact with the business, so they're always looking for more homes to rent. And also a pretty good thing too, they pay like way over the regular rent. So for example, I bought my house in 2021. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and we had like very low rate. So for example, the rent is almost 3 times the mortgage price. So I was wondering how it works if I was to find a deal and then that would accept creative financing. Then I would connect the group of business to rent the property.
Okay. It was kind of cutting out. I think it's on my end. My internet's just spotty, but you were asking you asked about paperwork to get a private
so
money
I want
lender.
to present a deal to my private money lender.
Right. So, like, how could you present it to a private money lender in a clear way that gets them all the information so they can make a decision whether to lend to you or not? Is that your question?
Yes, correct. And also for, I think for a seller, what would be the best way as well to accept the offer, like creative finance offer?
Yeah. Yeah. Is this your first time in our Zooms ever, Glover? Have you been in here
Yes.
before? Nice. It
Yes.
is?
It's the first time.
Okay. Love it, man. Welcome, bro. You're in the right place. We actually
Thank
go
you,
over
thank you.
this. Yeah, we go over this a lot, at least in regards to how to send something to a seller where it's because creative finance can be, like when we're in it, right? So it makes sense to us, but when you're not in real estate, you're not familiar with creative financing, like seller financing is a concept probably 99% of the population doesn't know or understand. So how you present it to them in a clear way where it makes sense is a difficult thing. So one of the biggest tools we use is what's called a letter of intent. And it's not a full contract, right? With a bunch of attorney jargon in there that's confusing. And we have these resources you can get too. So I'll show it to you. First thing I'll show you is the Facebook group you need to join. And I'll send you the link. So this is our community's Facebook group. It's called Herd of Profits. I'm going to post it in the chat right here for you. So there's the Facebook group. So you should join that. And then once you're in, come over to this files tab. So files, you might have to hit more and then files or something like that, but files. And then we have these for you. So a hybrid letter of intent where it's a subject to and a seller finance. And then just a subject to only LOI and a seller finance only LOI. So I'll show you one. I'll show you the subject to one. So it's 2 pages, and literally the first page basically just goes over the creative financing. The second page doesn't really talk about it much, but it's 1 page, super simple. So letter of intent to purchase, Purpose of this letter is to set forth some basic terms, blah, 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 right? It's not binding until a more detailed purchase agreement is negotiated. But yeah, it just says, may it be cleared and understood that Glober intends to purchase 123 Main Street from Cheryl Smith, right? Set a purchase price, a down payment. This is the subject to one, so you're only going to put a down payment and take over their mortgage. There's no seller finance. So I'm going to put 20K down and I'm going to take over your existing mortgage, call it like Rocket Mortgage. And I usually will put in parentheses 300,000. So if the mortgage is 300,000, you're putting 20,000 down, your purchase price is 320. And that's it. And then it spells out the rest. Like if we default on loan payments, right? So you may have to, again, go into a little bit more detail. You know, we always have a conversation with an agent or a seller before we send it to him, but pretty simple when dealing with subject to, like, you know, we're going to buy the home, we're going to pay you a down payment, and we're going to take over the payments. So this letter of intent will be a good resource for you. This is how we send basically a mock offer before an actual contract is sent.
No,
Hey,
nice.
Dylan, can you stop there real quick?
Yeah.
So,
Software.
okay, so you're on DocHub right now, right?
I'm not on Doc. This is just the PDF, but I would
Okay.
put this in DocHub. Yeah.
Okay. So I've used DocHub on the letter of intent. And so on, so like if you go to the hybrid one, I take out the cash offer, but I don't know how to back it up once I take out the cash offer on DocHub. I have racked my brain on that.
What do you mean back it up?
Okay, so if you scroll down to where the cash offer is,
Mm-hmm.
all right, so you're gonna white out that, right? Offer,
Yep.
white it out. Okay, well, that looks so stupid now that it's whited out. So I want to bring the non-binding up.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I usually just leave it like that, but you are right. It does look like there's a lot of space just
Right.
out in the
Okay.
middle of nowhere. So
Okay.
you're right. There should be like a tool to grab that.
Right. I have looked. I mean, I have tried everything. I just thought maybe I was missing something that you were doing.
Yeah, I usually just leave it. I think it's fine.
Okay. Well, I have because I
Yeah.
haven't been able to figure it out.
Right. I want to say I did it before, but it might have been another application. I can't recall. But one thing you could do is just let's see if this works. Is Control C, and then let's cover all of this.
You mean like white it all out?
White it all out. I copied it already.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think it's gonna look good.
I would suggest you just copy the whole thing and paste it into a Word document, and then you can just delete it and Word will format it correctly for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I tried to do it. It didn't let me do it. But
Okay.
yeah,
So, he'll just probably just work.
it's probably fine just to leave it blank.
Okay. Because honestly, the cash, I mean, we're not really doing it. You know what I mean? So I ended up the first one I did with the, I did on the Word document and then just imported it into the DocHub. I did
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah.
Okay,
that
I
might
just
be
thought
the
I was
best way.
missing something.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Can I borrow it there?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Lauren.
Mhm.
And then Glover,
Hopefully
to
you
get
could
back,
get it out. I don't think I could able to get it out. I had a problem.
and then Glover, to answer your other question, like how would you present it to a PML, right? To where it looks good and they're saying they have all the info they need and they're like, okay, let's do this, right? That's your next question.
Yes. So now I have like a better understanding between subject to and the seller financing. So Yeah, and the other question was going to how's the acceptance for luxury properties into, for creative financing?
Say that again. I'm sorry. It's hard to hear you kind of, Glover.
No, so is that echoing?
No, it's just quiet.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna ask a second question regarding that because my plan is to work with buy and hold using like rental properties and also short-term rental. So my question is, have just like someone in the group ever worked with like luxury properties to do rental income or short-term rentals? I'm asking because I'm on the Scottsdale area and I've seen a lot of properties for sale. And also did some research using the filter, houses that have been on the market for over 90 days. So my intent is to get a deal for these houses and do short-term rentals.
Okay, and you're asking how to do that or how to structure it?
Yeah, how to structure, or has anyone ever experienced that in terms of for creative financing for higher ending properties? What's the close rate on that? Is that like easier, or is it like it's more requires like more work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say, Glover, it's probably better to start with more affordable homes rather than the higher end. Also, short term is like when me and Joey started, it's funny. My partner Joey's in here. When we started, we live in Colorado and we thought, okay, we learned seller finance, we learned about Pace Morby. We thought we were going to get rich by calling these $1 million homes in the mountains of Colorado and seeing if these sellers would sell us their homes for 0 down, 0% interest, everything you see on Pace's YouTube, right? So we spent months calling these people, trying to find a deal. And the plan was we were going to turn them into Airbnbs and be Airbnb kings and make just thousands of dollars on top of our money. You know, I can tell you it didn't work. It did not work. These sellers are holding those properties very close to home, and they want big down payments. They want high interest rates, even if they're not even open to seller finance. But if they were, they want big down payments and they want high interest rates. And Airbnb is so volatile. A law could pass, an HOA could regulate it, anything could happen, and now you have like a $3,000 a month, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month payment, and you can't rent it out to save your life. So I would caution you to say that the luxury homes is an experienced investor's game. I would start with the more affordable $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 price range first before you get into the more expensive. Because if you get one of those homes, but your payment's $4,000, $5,000 a month, you're just dealing with pretty high numbers. So if you miss 1 month, like you're short 2 months, 3 months, now you're like in the hole pretty deep, and it's going to be hard for you to get out of that hole. Versus if your payment's $1,000 a month, that's a lot easier to get out of.
No, okay, I see. Yeah, I'm also checking for rental properties. Houses on the 300,000 to 400,000, close to the university. I live close by ASU, Arizona State, so I've seen. There you go. Yeah,
that's a business model.
Okay, and also houses that being renovated, are they like? If it's recently renovated, probably it's working like with investors. So those investors are also open for creative financing.
Generally not really. So like if a fix and flipper recently renovates a property,
Okay.
right? You have to think about it. They probably bought the home in cash, spent $50,000 to $100,000 renovating it. So they're out of pocket a ton of money. They're probably not likely to now finance you. They want that money back, you know? So low equity though is good for that. Like if they have a mortgage on it, you can take it over subject to.
Okay.
But back to your point about $300,000 to $400,000 homes near colleges, that's a business model I could get behind. Like if I'm an investor and you told me, yeah, I'm going after $1 million homes to put on Airbnb, I think everybody wants to do that, right? It sounds so sexy. But to make that business model successful, it's very hard versus the $300,000 to $400,000 home. You have a targeted, you know, college towns, you have renters, it's sustainable. Those colleges aren't going anywhere. That sounds like a solid model I would invest in, you know, it sounds safe. So, but yeah, man, I would say you just keep doing your research, you know, do a little bit more due diligence, learn a little bit more about creative finance, and then start making calls. That's probably the number one entry into real estate is getting on the phones and talking to sellers and agents.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I think for now, it's the two ideas, you know, to work with houses close to colleges and also check with my co-renter who wants a group home business, see what areas he looks for, and then try to work with the creative financing with the specific area.
I love it, man. Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
Okay. Yeah, man, appreciate the time. I will
For sure,
definitely
brother.
start working on, you know, doing some calls, building my lead list.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, hope to see you in here too, Juan.
All right, thank you.
Cool, thanks, man. Christopher.
Yeah, hey, I apologize. I missed the beginning of the meeting. I couldn't seem to find the link to get in. So if you covered this, I apologize. I'm very experienced in real estate. I was a realtor for a while. And so I'm more comfortable talking to realtors. I'm just curious what you think a good avatar is. Should it just be agent outreach? Because I understand them. I understand real estate in general. I'm fairly comfortable talking to people. Do you think reaching out to agents, stuff I find on Privy is a good way to start? Or have you got some suggestions on what would be a good sort of first step?
For sure. My first step for you, if I was you, Christopher, you're as an agent, you're good at sales, you're good at on the phones, you understand, you have credibility by being an agent. Agents love to talk to other agents. They don't necessarily like to talk to wholesalers or investors, right? Some don't, at least. But all agents will have conversations with other agents. So first step for you would be to really learn subject to, specifically over seller finance. Seller finance is great. It's a little bit more simple. I would try to learn and understand the mechanisms of subject to, and then try to find low equity listed or expired listings and talk to those agents about subject to. Most agents aren't familiar with or have never heard of subject to and how that's utilized. So as an agent, you can really teach a lot of agents about, there's this whole other world where people are taking over existing mortgages that nobody knows about. That's our biggest success. 80% of the properties we wholesale, keep, buy, whatever, are low equity, either on market or expired. So we're mostly dealing with agents or sellers that were motivated at one point or were listed at one point, and basically explaining to them, hey, you know, we'll give you your price, but we want to take over that 3% loan. So if you're on Privy, you can't necessarily filter on Privy. That's the only downside, I would say. So far, it probably will get better, but you just can't filter for low equity. But you can just click on an individual property in Privy and go over to public records, mortgage history, and you can see how much they owe at what interest rate. call that agent and say, hey, I see they don't have much equity. I would love to give them their price. I just want to take over their payments on that 3% loan they have.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you for that.
Right on. Thanks, Christopher. And then someone asked a good question. I want to, let me see. A vet asked a really good question. So, do you use Privy to do land as well? There's so many tools and not sure which to start. PropStream, Privy, batch leads. I'm actually looking to buy a property and move into as a potential seller finance as I potentially seller finance my house. So this is a good question. I think so many people get into real estate and there's all these programs and softwares, like, what do I need? What do I don't need? So to get started, you need Zillow. Zillow's free. You can find you can find deals on Zillow all day long. Privy would probably be the next step. I think Privy is about $50 a month, might be more. I'm not too sure, but you can do a little bit. It's very similar to Zillow, but you can do a little bit more filtering and find a little bit more information about public record data. So you can see the seller's names, their mortgage, if there's any liens on the property. So Privy would be your next step. PropStream and batch leads are going to be probably the top tier tools. I wouldn't say you need them immediately, but they're great because there's so many filters. So I can filter for tired landlords. So I can see, okay, I can filter for they've owned it 20 plus years. It's not their primary. They own multiple addresses. It's tenant occupied. It's completely paid off. I can filter for all of those and then pull a list in a major county and then boom, 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 call that list, versus Privy is more selective. You're just finding one by one. So to get started, you need Zillow. You can learn a lot from Zillow. You can learn how to comp. You can learn how to call agents, how to find rental rates, how to find foreclosures. Next step would be Privy. Next step would be batch or PropStream. They're kind of the same. Okay, Emma asked a good question. Could you please give an idea of what to exactly post on a private Facebook group to build my cash buyers list and what to say when I DM people? Great question, Emma. Things we've posted in the past are, I have tons of leads in the pipeline, maybe in a specific market. So if you are targeting a specific market, like tons of leads in the pipeline for South Carolina, where are my buyers at? I have some deals coming up. Like that alone will get you some people to just type their email address and send it to you. When you DM people and ask them, I would ask, try to filter them down. What exactly are you looking for? What areas? How much money do you have? How many deals are you trying to buy? What's your experience like? Bed bath count, square footage size, just find out what they're looking for. Oh gosh, Pansy, I am so sorry. I did not mean to. That's a brain fart on my end. I know I copy. Let's see
It's
if
okay.
it still is in my.
If you can't do it today, if you have time tomorrow, maybe Dylan, give me a call.
Yeah, let's check it. No, okay. Yeah. Let me see. Let me find a Pansy.
Pansy, you can always submit the lead in our lead form. That would probably be easier for Dylan and Joey to look at it.
I know. I just wanted to be able to discuss it because I
Yeah.
really do need to call this guy back fairly soon here.
Okay, so is he open to creative? He said he's open to seller finance, possibly.
No, not really, but I don't think he even understands it, to be honest, because he just kept throwing out things like, oh, you mean this? Oh, you mean, no, no, that's not what I mean, dude. And then he's
Right.
like, well, if I can't get top dollar, I'll just fix it up and rent it. I don't think he understands the amount of work he has to put into it to get the market rent. And then once he does, I honestly don't think he would get market rent because of it being smaller than other places that have sold nearby. And there's not very many comps like nearby either that have sold recently. Like the comps were like, I want to say 6 months out.
Right. Okay. So you're dealing with a guy that owns 14 properties.
Yes, I know that much.
Okay. So in my experience, he's an investor. 14 is not, he's not massive scale. He's probably, is he older guy? Can you tell, Pansy?
Oh, he sounded like at least in his 60s or more.
Okay. Right. Okay. So you have to think that you're dealing with a guy that's probably worked his whole life and been really smart. He's bought these properties very smart. He owes nothing on this, so he doesn't have a ton of pain. He doesn't have a ton of pain, right? It's not bleeding. It's just kind of, something on the side of his desk that he has been meaning to clean up for a while, but hasn't gotten to it,
Yeah. They've been fixing it up for a while and trying to rent it out for a while, and nothing's gotten done, really.
Right. And so this type of guy isn't, he's not motivated to sell his property at a discount. He's probably not motivated to sell it on seller finance at terms that would make sense for an investor to buy and turn into a rental.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
Right. If he did seller finance it, he would want bank terms. He would want 20% down, 8% interest. I can almost guarantee you.
Yeah, that sounds like something he would probably throw out there.
Right.
If he hasn't already.
Exactly. Yeah. And if he's not willing to sell you the property at a discount, considering the repairs that are needed, right? He probably still wants market value for the home, even though it needs work, because he knows that if you don't buy it for market value, he's going to sit in a rocking chair in the garage and do the work himself. He's going to spend 30 days.
He has a buddy that's probably around the same age as him that is doing the work very slowly. Because I met the guy and walked the property, and the pictures that they have on Zillow represent the property very well. It doesn't really hide much except for it's not a 3-bedroom. It's technically 2 bedrooms because the 1 bedroom is a walk-through room that you have to walk through from the back bedroom through the middle bedroom to get to the bathroom and the kitchen.
Interesting. Okay. So yeah, this guy, Pansy, he's probably, it's just not a good deal. He's going to renovate it and rent it if he doesn't get his price, and he will settle for the highest rent he can get, even though it's not market, but he's just going to keep it. He's just going to hold on to it. I can already tell you he's that type of guy where he's like a for sale by owner. Pace always says don't call for sale by owners because they're so unrealistic. They want top dollar, or else it's screw off, screw you.
So I could just basically tell him like, hey dude, I don't think you're gonna like my cash price, because we came up with a cash price of like 60, the most 85,000 for his property. But that doesn't leave anything. After repairs, it leaves nothing.
Right.
That would, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right. So your cash price needs to be closer to probably like 50 or 6 tops. And he's just, you already know, just like I know, he's not going to accept that.
Yeah,
right?
No, exactly. After speaking with him, no, I think he would hang up on me, which is not going to hurt my feelings. But
right.
I haven't, he seems really nice, just, like you said, very much stubborn, kind of. Like, I'll just sit here. It's not really costing me much,
Yep.
So,
yep.
I just,
Yeah.
I just wanted another opinion, because I am going to have to it would be a good courteous to at least give them a call and say, yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. Thanks, you know?
Right.
So-
So what Pace always does is like, don't want to insult you with my cash offer. I can tell you what it is, but you're not going to like it. The
Right.
only way I can come up to your price, and he says that very specifically, is like, I can come up to your price, insinuating that the home's not worth that, but I can come up to your price if you're willing to give me some terms like seller finance. But again, he's
Right.
going to be like, okay, 20% down, 8% interest. It just doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
So try to go for it that way, but be quick to, like, be strict about the terms you need to buy at. And if it's not a good fit, move on to the next one, I
Right.
would say.
Their price, my terms, my price, their terms, kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
1000%. You got it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. I appreciate it, but
Sweet.
yeah,
Yeah.
I pretty much had this kind of in my head that this is what I was going to have to do, what you
Mhm.
were saying about, offering cash and then going, but I could do the financing or whatever. So,
Yep.
yeah.
I
But
went through
know
this
it's gonna
exact.
be no. Yeah.
Yeah, I went through this exact scenario. Me and Angie went and saw a property here in Colorado. I don't know if Angie's listening or she remembers him, but this old Italian guy, probably in his 60s, super out of shape, was literally sitting in his garage, power tools everywhere, lumber and paint everywhere, and he's just renovating this property one day at a time. Owes it free and clear. And he's just stuck in his ways. He's an old stubborn guy. And do you remember that guy? Do you remember his name? This Italian guy. He was funny, but like literally a 60-year-old guy is on his hands and knees installing flooring and painting and remodeling. Frank, yeah, Angie remembers him. Frank. And we offered him a cash offer, and he said, "Nope, I'm gonna continue fixing it up and sell it on the market for top dollar," which I guarantee you he didn't. And then he was open to seller finance, but he was extremely unreasonable. He wanted 50% down at a 10% interest rate. Like, you just have to, it's just from experience, you're going to learn how to recognize these guys, these old stubborn guys, which, they worked their whole life too. You can't blame them. They worked their whole life to get where they're at. They probably aren't, he's probably still fixing it up. Yeah. He's probably still sitting in his garage messing with I forget what he was messing with, some unique tool I'd never seen before, but yeah, he was cleaning his tools with gasoline like a crazy person. But yeah, he's worked his whole life. He's not abundantly rich, right? So he's still trying to pinch pennies and save where he can. So like, this guy owns 14 properties, probably his retirement, he's probably still just skating by on 10 grand a month, maybe. Probably not. Probably
Yeah.
$4,000 or $5,000 a month. So it's just going to be very hard to convince these guys. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah. No, I know.
Mhm.
I guess so. I
Yep.
guess I was just chicken, I guess, to have that call and
You got it. I believe in you. Yeah.
Thank
I
you, Dylan. I
believe in you.
appreciate
You
that.
just gotta be firm. Of course. Yeah. Just tell them straight up. Like, probably not going to like my cash offer. I'll tell it to you if you, for $1, if you give me $1, I'll tell you my cash offer. Seller finance is probably the only way I can come up to your price. But I'm going to be pretty strict on my terms. So, like, play hardball with those guys. They probably appreciate that.
Yeah.
Be straight
Maybe
up with
he'll
them.
become a friend, and when he's ready to sell these properties, he'll come back to me.
Yep. There you go. I
So,
like it. Yeah.
awesome.
Thanks, Pansy.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Stevie, you have a question?
Yeah. What do you do about really rude agents and them wanting to get off the phone ASAP or hang up on you? I mean, I think
Yep.
personally myself, I think that the homeowner should be given the opportunity to hear the offer. But what do you do about that? I had a lady hang up on me the other day.
I'm going to let Joey tell you a story. Did you hear a question?
And look, I don't have a problem with people, flipping me off over the phone and all of that, but I do want to get the offer in front of the owner. So
Tell her about the Colorado Springs one. we just got.
So. Listen to another thing.
Rude agents that don't want to show you.
Rude agents that don't want to talk to you and just want to hang up. So literally this property, I'm about to get under contract probably tomorrow. Just got off the phone. I called the agent, pitched sub two or whatever. She said, no, this is pretty much told me it's illegal. My sellers won't go for this.
Yeah.
If you have a cash offer, send it to me. Goodbye. And hung up.
Yeah.
So I sent her a text. I was like, hey, I'm the one you just hung up on. From my tools, it looks like they owe around 420 and you guys are trying to sell for 437. Your seller's probably going to write a $15,000 check to sell our house. And I just send you an offer. She's like, yeah, whatever. Here's my email. Sent her an offer, sends me right back. Seller's not interested in this. Whatever. Like a week goes by, maybe a week and a half, and I check on the market. It's not on the market anymore. It's for rent. So I just call the seller straight up. I just go stop talking to that agent who doesn't want to hear me. Call the seller straight up. And I pitched up to her. She was like, wow, I love this idea. I'm just mad I didn't see your offer earlier. I was like, well, I actually did send you an offer and your agent didn't show it to you, which they can't do that. So now we're about to go under contract with it on a subject too, just because I just disregard that rude agent and just call the seller straight up. And
Okay.
sometimes you'll tell them, hey, your agent didn't want to talk to me, or you don't even have to call them. You could just come out as you just saw the property. But anytime an agent's doing that, just go straight to the seller. Unless you're an agent in that state, there's no rules or guidelines saying you can't call the seller. I just call the seller straight up and pitch them the idea. Because if a seller's going to lose money and then their agent doesn't want to hear my offer, I even told her I'd pay your commission. She's like, no, whatever. Hung up on me. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
call the seller. And she loves the term. She's like, wow, I really just want to get this house out of my name. I have 2 mortgage payments. She lives in another state, doesn't even live in the house.
Right.
And, that agent could have got paid a commission, but instead she wanted to be, play hardball and be rude. Now she's going to lost the listing and not going to get a commission. So
Okay.
go straight to the seller every time. If
Okay.
they want to
Cool.
play like that, I go straight to the seller. Okay, goodbye.
All right. Cool.
And just they're always going to be rude. There's always going to be those rude agents.
Oh
You're gonna
yeah.
get unicorn ones where they're like, "Oh yeah, this would work great for my seller, and it'll all go good." But then 9 out of 10 of them won't. And then
And I sent you guys a lead that a real estate agent. She is so green. She absolutely admitted, like, I am new to this. I've never heard of this, but I would love to present it. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to get my partners and we can all have a conversation together and they'll be able to explain it to you guys and it'll make sense. And I think, and she's really excited. So then you get those, real estate agents.
yeah, and
But,
it's awesome when you get those ones too.
Yeah. So, and they definitely need to get out of the house because they're not going to be making any money for sure.
Yeah. Now,
Um,
if you're calling ones where they got 100 grand of equity, 200 grand of equity, and the agent's being rude, I don't even care to call the seller because at that point, really, our offer is really not going to make sense for them. Now, if it's been on the market for 280 days, maybe. But
right.
the low equity where they're going to lose money with the sell, like, I don't know why the agent wouldn't want to at least look at our offer,
Right.
right? Like, if your seller's going to lose money, they're going to lose money with this, they're going to write the bank a check. Why wouldn't you want to hear my offer that's going to put 5 to 10K over what they're going to pocket right now?
Right.
You're always going to get those agents. I just go straight to the seller every time.
Okay, cool. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, and one thing I would add to that is I always like to preface my calls with, I might not be a good fit for your client or they might not be a good fit for me, but at the very least, I always like to make relationships with agents. And at the very least, just add this as a tool to your toolbox. We got a property under contract in Fountain, Colorado. This agent, it was a foreclosure with an agent. Very quick to get one of my guys off the phone, was not open to subject to. And then we kept following up. And then he finally listened to us. And I had a very honest conversation. I was like, do you do is foreclosures your specialty? Is that kind of what you target? And he said, yeah. And I said, okay, well, I'm thinking it's crazy that you don't know what subject to is. you don't know what wraps are. You're just literally leaving tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table that you could be adding to your business. So I explained to him what subject to was. And I said, at the very least, like if you're doing a lot of foreclosures, this is a tool you should absolutely know. You should also know how to stop a foreclosure, how to delay it, how to get a cure notice set to the bank, all that good stuff. And then I explained wraps. You know, your buyer for this property is probably not a retail buyer, or at least a traditional buyer with an agent. Your buyer is going to be someone that is a wrap buyer, that is a penalty box buyer that we call them. And we can market this property and try to find that person for you. We'll structure it, make sure you get paid. But the most important thing is you're going to learn how to do this, and learn how to stop foreclosures, wrap properties, market to different buyers in a non-traditional sense. And we got that property under contract. He was open to it. So that's another idea, is just be on that agent's side and say, well, let me at least just, you know, show you this isn't just another tool to add to your arsenal when you're going to list these homes. So another way you could look at it. All right. In the group, we'll have access because if it's in a general group, just post like, hey, I'm marketing in South Carolina. Where are my South Carolina buyers at? I have a lot of hot deals coming up, something like that. You'll get people interested in it. And then Alfred answered it, nailed it. As long as you're not a real estate agent, there's nothing illegal about it in the first point. I think you can't do jail time because you called a seller, even if you're an agent. You might get your license pulled, but it's not illegal. If you're not an agent, that's free game. You can call a seller all you want. You're going to piss some people off, but at the end of the day, you know, we're not here to take part. We're here to take over. You know what I'm saying? Like Conor McGregor says. So, nothing illegal about it. What do you say? What do you say if you DM people to see if they're buyers? I ask them what their buy box is, what states, what types of homes, how much money do they have, what their price range is. Are they looking for rentals, fix and flips, properties that need work, tenant occupied or owner occupied? So just be genuinely curious. Ask them about their business. If they're buyers, they'll tell you, you know, I buy homes in this, and I buy this many homes a year. I buy homes in this specific area, this type of home, single family, multifamily, whatever. So just be genuinely curious. Ask them about their business. They'll tell you. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I thought agents still got paid within contract time, 3 months. Depends on the contract. Yeah, you're right, Payne. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna leave you there. Shout out to you guys for showing up, man. We have some people that show up all the time, and I'm just super, super proud to see you guys continue to show up. I know this stuff is hard, man. It's, especially if you're trying to tackle it on your own, it's super hard to continue to learn, and you're just looking at a mountain called real estate and you're not sure where to take your first step. So just keep showing up, keep trying to take action. That's the most important thing. Implement what you've learned. So grateful for you guys showing up. Our next Zoom is this Friday. It'll be at noon Mountain Time. I'm not sure what we're going to do exactly. Maybe just calling agents, I think, would be valuable for a lot of people. Let's just call some agents live. Might be really cool to see. So that might be Friday Zoom. I'll let you guys know. But make sure you're a part of the Herd of Profits Facebook group. A lot of value in there. You guys can ask any questions you want. Most people get back to you, or will get back to you pretty quickly. If you guys need anything in the meantime, reach out to Rachel. She can point you in the right direction.
I just want to say hi, Dylan.
Hi, Jennifer.
I was trying to pop in earlier, right?
Yep, no worries.
Yeah, just to tell you hi. And I was over there at the house at at the transitional house, right? And I wanted to show y'all around. It's fully remodeled. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. We already have people coming in. It's amazing.
Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. But my pastor called me and said there was a lady who's in a tough situation, like religious wise, right? Not sober living, not just she doesn't do drugs or alcohol or anything like that, just like a Mormon and got, just a religious thing going on, right? So he called me and he's like, the first person I thought of was you, and can you meet me at Sam's Club? And we're actually here right now about to go meet with her.
Nice. That's exciting.
Doing some outreach, man.
I love it. Yeah. Everybody, if you guys don't know Jennifer Brown, she is probably one of the nicest, probably most caring people we've ever met. I sincerely think that Jennifer probably has other people's best interest in mind, way above her own. So if you guys need anyone boots on the ground in Corpus Christi or have any questions about sober living or group homes too, she is pretty knowledgeable about that stuff too. So yeah, shout out to you, Jennifer. You're a beast.
Thank you, Dylan. Absolutely, man. We're growing so much and just making so much traction in a speed rate of time, right? Like we're just knocking it out, man, and made some amazing, powerful connections, and just meetings after meetings, and met with some doctors, and we're about to be NARS certified through Tron. I have a good friend that's on the Tron board. So just amazing things that are happening. So yeah, if anybody's interested in doing sober living or transition, right? Let me know. We're ready to branch out. We've got all the agencies in place, and we can fill those houses.
Let's do it. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right
Me and I started the networking site back up, right? The messenger. I know your mom's been sick. So, but I did set it up, and we can bring people on board there, right? And start networking and seeing where it makes sense, right? Where we can have operators, where we can have, boots on the ground, so we can start building those homes.
I love it. Super
Absolutely.
exciting. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, for sure. God bless you,
All right,
guys.
God bless you too. Cool. All right. We are going to call it there, but yeah, we'll see you guys Friday. Good luck this week. Be safe, everybody. Make some calls, call some agents, call some sellers. If you guys need anything in the meantime, go to our Facebook group, ask some questions there. We also have links if you want to submit a lead that you're not sure what the next step would be. We can help you guys underwrite it, negotiate it, anything you guys need. So again, shout out to you guys. Thanks for showing up. We will see you Friday. Have a good week. Peace. See you guys.